welcome to my studio. Today we're painting tulip petals. Let's go! Line drawing is on a transparent paper. I have line drawing transferred to this paper, and now on the other side with the graphite stick covering the layer so I can easily transfer to my paper. I'm placing transparent paper on my original watercolor paper, checking if the composition is in the middle, everything is correct, the placement is where it should be. And now I'm tracing over lines, all the details like stamens, separation lines, some middle characteristic lines. And now as I have my graphite transfer, I'm going over with very thin mechanic graphite pencil, which is 0.3, and now with an elastic eraser rolling over to remove the excess amount of graphite off the paper so it is clean and neat. Setting last details to start filming. We can continue with mixing watercolors. I will be using Permanent Rose together with Lemon Yellow, Permanent Rose, and also Permanent Rose with Perylene Maroon and Just Clean Perylene Maroon. For the shadow area of the whiter part, I will be using Permanent Rose, Lemon Yellow, and little touch of Ultramarine Blue. Testing out watercolor pigments, and we can start painting. Be sure that after mixing watercolors your water is clean, and with a thin layer for the inner part of the petal section, I'm starting applying water with clean and dry brush, round synthetic brush. Layer is very small amount of water, nothing is floating, it's just a moist surface of the paper, so when I'm applying watercolors I can push them freely with the brush. They're not moving by themselves. Just accurately, everything is controlled with the brush. Paints are not acting on their own on this paper surface. Starting from the shadow area, especially the beautiful cast shadow area that is caused from the curved petal on the left, and carefully, very transparently, first layer is super thin, super light, and nothing is as the same consistency and strength as it is in the reference. It is very important to paint first layers very transparent, so we have room to paint even more and more layers. Watercolor is very transparent media, and we need to keep this transparency all the way through the painting process. For the guidances, I'm constantly checking reference all the time. No matter how long I will be painting, I will still have my reference right beside me, and I also encourage you to open the reference when you are painting something, because all the information that you need is there. You don't need to guess something or assume something and just paint. All the information is in the reference. The more we look, the more we start to see, and everything that we notice in the reference we need to paint in our painting. Realistic painting is all about details and seeing those different tonal values, different color tones in the reference, and the more we see, the more we start to notice. Now painting the lower part of these petals, which is of course in real life white, but white also has shadow areas. In this case, this specific area should be painted very gently and very lightly. Don't go too dark with the gray mixes. It can finish with dirty looking result of your white area shadow. While the surface is still a little bit wet, I'm adding a little bit more of watercolor layers to the shadow area of this inner part of the petals. I'm speeding up the painting process of these tulip petals. Full tutorial is available on my Patreon channel, where you can see the whole process of painting from the very beginning till the finishing touches with all the explanation. Also, lots of other painting tutorials that are available on my Patreon channel. A little reminder, as you are painting, constantly check the reference while you are painting your realistic watercolor painting or any other medium. It's super important in realistic painting to follow the guidances that are visible in the reference. Applying layers and layers of transparent watercolors, I'm slowly building up the saturation and vibrancy of these beautiful tulip petals and the colors they are. Nothing is achieved in first few layers or 3 or even 5 layers. It is all about many layers of transparent watercolors. Moving forward and constantly checking the reference. The reference is your main guide in the painting process. After painting for 1 hour, these tulip petals are becoming more like in the reference. It is all about consistent painting and applying transparent layers of watercolors. Even after a few layers, don't be discouraged that your painting don't look like the reference or the real-life subject. It's all about going forward with transparent layers. We are slowly building the realistic look of the subject. Adding last finishing touches and finishing these tulip petals. This is an amazing warm-up before bigger project of painting tulips. Hope you enjoyed this tutorial, and thank you for watching, and thank you for being here on my channel. If you found this helpful, consider subscribing. Thank you. Bye bye.